Hello everybody, recently I did a unboxing of the Star Wars Episode 1 Clash of the Lightsabers card game. I did not have the rules, but a friend of mine, Christian Moffs, a subscriber, had the rules and he sent me the rules via Facebook. So I think I got the gist of how the game is played now. So I'm going to try to do a tutorial. Alright, so you set up the dual cards 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This way for Qui-Gon and this way for Darth Maul. It's actually a two-player game, so one person will be on this side and one person will be on this side. Each player, of course, you shuffle the cards, and each player will draw 7 cards. You will play it until one person gets to 5. Whoever gets to the 5 on their 5th duel wins. So what each player will do is they'll have 7 cards and they'll put 3 cards down. And they'll put them down without people seeing them. So let's just do that, for example. Alright. Special cards. So this one lets you pick a card from his hand and discard it. So you have a discard pal. This one does it. Draw 1 card, play immediately. So that becomes a 3 attack. And then this is while in play, Obi-Wan doubles the attack value of all your cards in this battle. 3 beats that. 3 doesn't get beat because this battle is doubled, so this is a 6. So this beats that. And this is times 2 Darth Sidious. Rather than play Darth Sidious, doubles the attack value of all your cards. These two both do the same thing, so they cancel each other out. So it makes this a tie and this a win. So 1 win, 2 ties. The winner gets to move up 1. He won, and you basically do that. You do that until one side gets all the way to the end. So now each round's a new round, so you draw 7 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you repeat. So here's another hand doing an example. What you really do is you show all the cards at the same time. So again, they cancel out each other out, which makes a tie. 3 and 3 cancels each other out. It's a tie again, right? And 4 beats 1. So now Qui-Gon is ahead, goes up 1 space. And again, it's a tie. So now we're on round 3. And see how it works. This blocks, it says, immediately cancels any of Qui-Gon's cards played. Place the canceled card in Qui-Gon's discard. So it cancels that one. So that makes it this side a win. These are both use the force, which makes that a win. And this is draw 1 card and play immediately. This is the draw. It's another draw 1 card, play immediately. It's a 1. It still beats that. So in this particular case, he won all 3 rounds, right? He won all 3. When you win all 3, you get to move up 2 spaces, not just 1. So that's how winning all 3 works. And again, you just draw more cards. and carry on. Let's see who's going to win this game. Darth Mule only needs to win one more. Let's see. Now I'm showing you the more cards you draw, the stronger your hand's going to be. Because you don't discard the 7 cards. You just keep adding 7 more cards. It's not go back up to 7 cards. Which is a weird rule. It should be go back up to 7 cards, but it says draw 7 more cards. And also why I'm showing you most of these cards is because I want to emphasize the special cards. That's why I'm showing you special cards. This one cancels all of Darth Maul's cards already played in this battle, which would, if you do one at a time, this would be this. Then this one would block it, which this would make that a win. This would make that a win, and this would be discarding this, which would also make this a win. So in this particular case, Qui-Gon has won 3 rounds. So he moves up 2. So it can be a fairly fast game. So it should be only one more round and people win. I don't understand that drawing 7 more cards each time rule. Because that's just making your hand like bigger and bigger. See how thick their hands are getting? I'm thinking that you should draw back up to 7 cards instead of 7, but that's not what the rules say, so probably a rule malfunction. Okay, so we see how this is a tie. We see how that's a tie. Now this one doubles these powers, but since he has rage, it cancels all the cards played except the double power, but it's still nothing. So this would make these cards canceled and this double power canceled, which would make these ties. It's ties no matter what on this particular case. So nobody moves up 1 or back. So now we have 1 more round. Again, now our decks of cards are getting bigger than our draw pals. And our discard pals are actually getting smaller than our thing. Very interesting. So we have like a deck building system going on here. And after a while, we won't have very many cards to draw from. But it says once you run out, you just mix the discard part all back in. Now, I don't see you running out because, look, the game's almost about to end. Okay, so this probably is the final round. 4 beats a 2. Times 2 doubles the 4. Doubles the 2 makes that tie. And both blocks cancel each other out. 3, on the other hand, doesn't defeat Darth Sidious. So 3 wins. That's a trade. Tie. That's a tie. That was a tie. So nobody won. Oops, I'm about to put the wrong ones in the wrong side here. Wow. Try this. If we go 1 more round, we won't have any more cards to draw. Wow. So let's just see how this works. This would block the life drain, but neither side would win. So this bust of energy, this block would block that one, and both of these are final attacks, so they would cancel each other. This block would block that. So again, this would be a nobody won hand. Now, let's try this. We got a burst of energy, but the block beats the burst of energy. And then we got 2 retreat cards. Both sides are trying to retreat. Now, you wouldn't want to retreat when you know your opponent would win, but I'm just trying to throw these cards. You can use this retreat card to concede a whole entire battle, right? And if you concede a battle, that means you concede battle. Now, you wouldn't want to necessarily concede a battle when you both only need to win one more battle, because that would automatically probably make your opponent win. I was just using that as an example. Now, according to the rules, you would trade these back in and put them back in, but I think their decks are big enough, so I'm just going to play with what we got. And nobody has won yet. Life Drain, pick a card from his hand, which I think is this one. These two cancel each other out. This one's draw 2 cards. Can't draw any more cards. Though he could these are both the same. Pretty much, so they cancel each other out. This is supposed to draw a card, but this is supposed to pick the card. So if they drew a card, whatever it was, this one would pick that card and destroy it. So it would cancel each other out. And again, we have another tie. Now, this set only has cards like this left. So of course they're going to probably do this, right? This is all they have left to do, right? But this set has more. They have these. So probably what they'll do is use those, right? So the final battle here is all they can do is 3s. The 5's going to beat the 3. Sith Lord lets them draw a card and play it immediately, which is supposed to draw from this. But let's just say they draw from this and it's a 3, so that makes it a tie. And this blocks that one, so the 5 blocks it, which makes that a tie. So that's a tie. And the 5 beats the 3, which makes Darth Maul win and slice Qui-Gon's head off like he did in the movie, right? And that's the game. Darth Maul wins, Qui-Gon loses. Now, I kind of cheated because I'm playing both sides, but that's pretty much how you play it. And I also kind of cheated because I tried to use the special cards more than the other cards to show you basically how some of the special cards work, which they basically work the way they tell you to. You do what they basically say. So basically, how you play it is kind of like war, but when you have the 3 cards out and you do 1 battle, 2 battle, 3 battle, whoever won that one moves up, or they stay the same, and then 1, 2, and so on and so forth. And that is how you play Star Wars Clash of the Lightsabers game. What I think about the game, it's a simple game. Fairly easy game. Shouldn't be too hard to play. The best thing about it, I think, is the cool computer miniatures. Tokens. Yes, I'll pause in between every turn for the most part. And yes, I would think my idea would be to just replenish your hand up to 7 cards, not draw a whole new 7 cards. That drawing a whole new 7 cards kind of makes you have this big old deck that you have no way to do anything with, unless you use that one card that lets you discard your whole entire deck and start over again with 7, which kind of seems weird. which is only good if you have a bunch of low cards and can't do anything. But my final thoughts of the game is a simple game, fun game, easy breakout game. I just played it in 15-20 minutes, so shouldn't be too hard to play. I was playing it a little more to show you the special cards, so it probably took me a little bit longer because I was also explaining the game of how to play it. But simple, fun, easy, not too hard card game, kind of like War, and you basically just want to get your guy to the end, the finish line, the end, the fastest. If you win all 3 rounds, you get to move up 2. You win 1 round, you win 2 rounds, and the other guy wins 1 round, you get to go up 1. If you win 1 round and the other 2 rounds are ties, you get to go up 1. If you win 2 rounds, other rounds a tie, you still only get to go up 1. Seems like you could make the game longer by making it where if your opponent loses, he has to go down. And you have to go up, where you can't win unless your opponent is in number 1 and you're in number 5. That might make the game go a little bit longer, because now instead of trying to get to the 5th round, you're actually trying to beat him to make him go back each time, which would be interesting. So you can go up. That might be a way to do it. Or you could maybe play the game where you go all the way up to 5 and then back all the way down to 1. You have to win 10 rounds. Or something of that nature. I don't know. You could make the game quicker by getting rid of all the special cards, because if all you have is the attack number cards, the game's going to go by way faster. Maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe not. But it's all based on what cards you get. But as you see, your deck was getting big. And I don't like that aspect. Your deck's too big. I'm thinking more of the aspect that they need to do where each person only has 7 cards in their hand. Seems like a rule mistake there. That might make the game more balanced if you only have 7 cards in your hand. But then some of those cards about drawing extra cards make no sense unless you apply them for the battle. Like draw 1 card and that card gets added to the battle. Or draw 2 cards and those 2 cards add up the amount and they get added to the battle. That and the adding cards in the battles with the special cards would make some kind of sense. Other than that, seems like a little bit of a rule modification needs to be made. Anyway, remember, God's good all the time. All the time, God's good. Jesus loves you. Jesus God. Jesus Lord. Jesus King. Jesus rule everything. And have a great day. So, some other ways I would play it is reduce it where you only have 7 cards per hand, per round. So you only have to draw up to that amount. And maybe the other idea, if you want the longer version, is to try to knock your opponent down to 1 once you're at 4 before you can move on to 5. But that would probably make the game never ending, because if they won 1 while you were at 4, well, I guess they would go up. And then they would go all the way up to 4 and then be trying to knock you down. So maybe not. Maybe give an option of going up 1 or knocking your opponent back 1. That might be a particular option to add. See how that works. That could make up for some of those jumping up 2 spaces. Maybe getting rid of that idea that you get to jump up 2 spaces. Seems kind of unfair. um, Maybe the idea that the cards you're supposed to draw from the discard pile don't go in your hand like the rules suggest, but they go on the battlefield, and then those cards are used to determine the numbers of the battle. That would probably make more sense, in my opinion, on if you played it that way. But I showed you how to play it based on the rules that these people wrote. Hasbro wrote those rules. Milton Bradley wrote those rules. They're the ones that messed up on the rules, not me. Anyway, have a great day. Later.